Hey, listeners, this is James, and oh, no Chelsea. That's right, because she decided to vacate me tonight. She has to close and whatever at her job, or I should say our job. And so I have a good fill in tonight, which is my dad. Say hello, Dad.
Hey, James.
And
And
his name,
listeners.
yep, his name is Jim. So, yep, we got two Jameses here tonight. And as always, you're listening to Lights, Camera, Action Podcast. All right. So, we are here and at the end of the week, Dad.
Yeah.
And then
Nice.
Dad does a lot of Grubhub, and then he does work for the school. He's a para for right now until he can possibly drive if he wants to, and so he's been kind of doing that. And yep, so Grubhub is your job, Dad.
Yeah.
Yep. So, um, Dad's a little shy, I can tell, but but we're here to kind of do a fill-in episode since there's no Chelsea tonight, and I figured there'd be no better solution than my dad. And one of the things that Dad likes is Elvis Presley, and he's a big Elvis fanatic, and he knows pretty much anything and everything you could think of Elvis and everything that he's done in his life. And even though there's a lot of because that's how Dad is, we'll still eventually get to the point.
Mm.
Right, Dad?
Yes, you got it.
You love Elvis.
Yes, I do. Um, I remember back when I was a teenager that I actually got to go to the Elvis concert at Persian Auditorium here in Lincoln, Nebraska. And so that was a lot of fun for me. I was a teenager back then. So, yep, but I've always liked Elvis a lot and grown up with him, and so therefore I like a lot of his movies and have been to Graceland before.
Mm.
So that was fun.
I've been wanting to go.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll have to go together.
Yeah, I know. That's we were even talking to Mom about that and everything. I think even Melissa, and we're just like, we need to all go to Graceland.
Yeah.
Because I did technically go, but I was really, really young.
Yes, you did. You were like 3 years old, right? Two
Yeah,
years old.
2 years old.
Okay.
Mom's holding up two
Mom's
fingers.
yeah. Mom's over here correcting 2 fingers.
So yeah,
So
2 years
yeah.
old. So I don't remember much.
Yeah. Yeah. We were like strolling you around.
Yep. So yeah, that was interesting to know that you guys went to Graceland and saw everything of your childhood and younger childhood, or sorry, older childhood. I guess you want to say hero. So that's pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Yes.
And then for me, it's one day I'll meet Jim Carrey.
Oh.
So that's my favorite actor. And
Yes.
then, yeah, my favorite musician is Keith Urban. My favorite band is Foreigner, so I've already seen them. So I've already checked those off my bucket list. So that's been nice. Mom's favorite is Bon Jovi. She checked that off of her bucket list. And Dad was with her for that. So, in our family, we've checked some boxes off on different things. So that includes way back with Elvis Presley. So, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were with your mom and dad, weren't you?
Yes. Yes. My mom and dad
Yeah.
for seeing the Elvis concert.
Yeah. No.
So
And I can't remember.
But-
Back then, were you able to smoke in the venue?
that I'm not possibly
70s.
sure. It could have been possible, but I don't recall when I was sitting there. And we were sitting in the seats right down on the floor, so we were only like 10 rows back from the stage.
Oh, wow.
So that was a lot of fun. And but I don't recall smelling a lot of smoke in that room. So they might have still had a rule back then about where to go, but I don't think they were as strict as like now. But yeah, they had some rules for that.
And do you
so.
still remember it like it was yesterday? Like you can walk up and there's people are like, "Hey, come and see Elvis, Elvis," Hey, we got tickets over here. Tickets, hey, for tickets for
Yeah,
Elvis.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't uh, see a lot of those kind of people right out in front of the building there doing that, but I think I remember like two different people I saw doing it, but not a lot of them. But
Or like
um,
banners or flyers.
yeah, they were trying to offer you tickets to get from them instead, and so forth. But we already had ours, and actually we had a really good friend of my mom and dad's that was a lady that decided that she would do like other people were doing, and therefore she would stand in line overnight at the Persian Auditorium to get tickets for all of us.
Oh
So
wow.
it was really nice that she was willing to do that, and so she did that, and it was how it worked out for me and my mom and my dad and myself to go there to see the concert. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And
And
that's like the back then you have to stand in line to get tickets, and then to get
yeah.
good seats you have to be like the first like 20, 30, 40 people to get good seats.
Oh yeah, yeah. It wasn't like nowadays where you just get everything online and so
Hmm.
forth. But yeah, back then you had to be in line to get tickets. So and now, of course, Persian Auditorium ain't there anymore. So it's
Yeah.
um, kind of sad in a way that it's not a good landmark still sitting there from the past. But I know times move on. So,
Right.
but I also saw David Copperfield Magic Show
Copperfield.
there
Yeah.
once too. But I know we're dealing with Elvis, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that was cool, and I got to be a part of his show.
Yep, yep.
But
Because I remember that we were all coming in, and then they were talking about like who wants to be part of the David Copperfield show, and you're like, I would.
yeah,
And then it was, I believe it was me, my sister, my mom, and you. I think it was us four that went
yes,
to it, and they're like, okay, and so they were like, oh yeah, yeah, like we can definitely get you part of the show. And then I remember you had to wear like a little bunny badge so he can find you in the crowd.
yes, yes. Yes. So for that part, that was the deal. They took me backstage and told me what I would be doing. It would be the bucket trick, which is to pull a rabbit out of the bucket, and they told me I'd be wearing this. Uh, a sticker on my
The bunny
shirt. They would,
sticker.
yeah, the bunny sticker they would give me for on my shirt, and so sure enough, I did. And then they would let uh, David know where that I'm out there in the audience for him to come find me. And sure enough, he just walked right up to my row and looked down there and saw me and saw the tag on my shirt, and then he yelled out to me if I would want to come up and be on stage with him, and I said sure. And so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was cool. I
And
remember that too, because then you had to walk back in slow motion.
yeah, yeah, they wanted me to do a kind of a special kind of walk back, and they called it hands over feet or something like that, and it was kind of an awkward walking back to the seat, but and then a lot of people were laughing and stuff. It was a lot of fun, but
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
yeah,
So back to Elvis.
yes, Elvis time.
um, so the one, I mean, if you guys been listening to my podcast, me and Chelsea usually do actors and actresses of the backgrounds and whatnot of that. But I kind of wanted to save that for a little bit later because I know that I would like to cover Elvis's life and the movies that he's done because he's had a huge impact on everybody. And even some people say that he's even made even more money dead. So it's really weird, but I guess that's kind of the common theme on certain people. So apparently he made more money when he's dead. So I mean, I guess kind of goes along with everything of financial wise of just everything that people find him like find different things about him that like his suits, his cars, all that kind of a thing for higher priced because he's passed away. So let's just say, for
Yeah.
instance, he bought a car for like 50,000, but then when he passed away, and they want to keep it as a historical type thing at their house or landmark or whatever, then it's going to pay like 150 or 200,000 just because they want to make sure nobody else gets it. So that's kind of a interesting fact about him and how much of an impact he's had on everybody, and obviously the king of rock and roll. So that kind of correlates into there. So I know that me and Chelsea are going to do that later on. We're not exactly sure when, but we'll just cross that bridge when we do. But we're going to talk about one of his controversial films, actually, called Clambake.
Yes.
And you've seen Clambake, obviously.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, yep. And then, would you say out of all of his movies that is one of your favorite, or is kind of a it's okay kind of movie?
No, I do. I do like that movie really well. So that is one of my favorite ones. Yes.
Okay. So the funny thing, I might as well just give you guys a background of it if you've never seen it. So Scott Hayward is Elvis Presley. He rebels against the plans and expectations of his father, extremely rich oil tycoon Duster Haywood, and that's played. Do you remember who that's played by? Something. It says
Oh.
Gregory, but
Oh.
I can't think of
Darn it.
what his actor's name
No.
is. I want to say, gosh, what is it? Oh, James Gregory. Yes.
Okay.
So James Gregory. I knew I had it on the tip of my tongue. So he drives to Florida in his red 1959 Chevy Corvette Stingray Racer to kind of find himself. So I'm guessing, since you've seen the movie and I haven't yet, I guess it kind of just starts off by he's like the son of the rich oil tycoon guy, right? So because that's
Yes,
always
and
his
he's
father.
trying to go away from being portrayed as that person and try to find himself in his own world. And so he takes off and in his car, and he goes across, and he decides to go to Florida in this one area that is like a boat racing area,
Yeah.
and he goes there to get involved in that. And on the way, he with his car that he had, on his way he meets up with another guy, and it's on a motorcycle, and then they switch places, and then he's riding in there on a motorcycle, so he can meet someone and not let that woman know that he's really wealthy, because he wants people to think of him as a average guy, and have a woman see him as an average guy for her to be dating instead of wealthy and so forth. But it ends up being funny with different parts about it and so forth. Um, but he gets involved in that and so on.
Right. Yeah. And I guess honestly, today, actually, I didn't even realize this, Dad. I'm surprised you didn't notice.
What?
Today is the anniversary of when he died.
Oh,
August 16th,
yeah,
1977.
yeah.
Sheesh.
So-
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was born January 8th, 1935, and died
Right.
on this date, 1977.
Yes.
So that's crazy.
And
So,
I
yeah.
remember,
Wow.
that as well, of being at one of his very last concerts, because of being at the Persian Auditorium for the concert of Elvis,
Yeah.
and back in those days. So
Because that would be in the 70s. So, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
crazy.
that was a lot of fun.
Yep. So, I mean, kind of going along with what you already said, when Scott stops for gas and refreshments, he encounters Tom Wilson, which is played by, again, I need to look up people, but it's Hutchins. So I'm assuming Will Hutchins, who is on his way to take a job as a water skiing instructor at a Miami hotel. A chance remark by Tom gives Scott the idea to switch identities with Tom, so he can find out how people react to him as an ordinary person rather than as a millionaire. So Tom has fun staying at the same hotel and pretending he is rich.
Yes.
Does that sound right?
Yes, he's portraying the part that Elvis was in the movie, but of course Elvis wanted to make himself be like an average guy, so he could get some woman to be just interested in who he is and himself.
And is that woman the hotel guest Diane Carter? which is played by
Shelley
Shelley
Fairbears.
Fairbears.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So she kind of
And
takes a liking to him, and it shows that.
yes, she gets kind of interested in different guys that she's already finding out is like wealthy, and she wants to really hook up with somebody like that. But she sees Elvis and um, as Scott,
Yeah,
and talks with him, and she likes him. But then she's still trying to hook up with a rich man, and so he doesn't want her to know that he's rich. He wants her to see him as himself, and so therefore he keeps teaching her how to ski, but then he finds out later she already knows how to ski really well. And
yeah, because it says here, it says, however, once they are out on the water, because she wants to take a skiing lesson from him, that she starts performing fancy maneuvers to gain the
yes,
attention of a wealthy young playboy, James J. Jameson III,
yeah,
which is played by
Bill Bixby.
Bill Bixby. Yep, yep,
Yep.
yep. So then she confesses later to Scott that she's a gold digger, assuming that he is one too. So Scott agrees to help Diane land Jameson, but ends up falling for her himself, which is a common thing in some of these movies nowadays.
Yes.
So then kind of goes on from there to go to Scott persuades a boat builder, Sam Burton, who is played by Gary Merrill, to allow him to rebuild Burton's Rawhide, a high performance boat that was damaged with raced at high speed. So
Yes.
I'm guessing from there he just kind of goes on to do like boat racing.
Yes, he gets the guy that
The Merrill, the Sam Burton.
yeah, the one that was on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
him.
Okay.
He gets him to help him out to redo the boat and so forth, and gets to work at the same boat shop where the boat's at, so you don't have to take it somewhere else. And they work on it like day and night and whatever to get it back in shape. And he had in the business in the movie, in other words, in the business that was his dad's business. Uh, he had created this hardener material that would that would harden up for the holes and whatever, and he continued with the experiment so that he could make it work really good, and then it did, and then they got a bunch of women coming in and helping them redo everything on the boat and so forth, and made it good for racing.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, it says like with no time for testing before the race, he applies this like goop they called it
Yes, yes,
to where his son is, and or sorry, the goop they put in there last minute because it's losing strength in the water. So he applies it to the bolt's hole and hopes it will hold the rawhide together.
right,
And then Duster learns where his son is and comes to see what he is doing. So Duster, obviously, the rich oil tycoon that we mentioned earlier, his father came in to see what his son's doing, and then from there, to Scott's surprise, his father is enormously proud of what he is doing. So that's kind of
yes,
cool. So kind of took himself out of the, like you said, the whole I'm a rich millionaire guy to being just want a girl to like him for who he is,
right,
and so kind of
and
just went
so
that way. So that's kind of cool.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I like all of Elvis's movies and so forth, and so but this one it was really good for different kind of things that he was doing, and knowing what he's doing to rebuild the boat and then actually go out and race the boat, and uh, getting involved with Shelley Fairbears in the movie of her character and falling in love with her, and so forth, and so yeah, it was a really good one.
Yeah. So I mean, they were telling, and this kind of a thing too. If anybody's ever not seen the end of the movie, I apologize, but ahead of time. But meanwhile, Jameson, during all this kind of stuff is happening, Jameson proposes to Diane. So Scott enters the suite before she can give Jameson an answer, but the Playboy informs Scott they are getting married right after he wins the race. So Diane, however, decides to give up her scheme and return home. And in the race, Jameson takes the lead in his boat, that Scarlet Lady. But Scott passes him at the finish line. Scott then offers to give Diane a lift, and then on the drive, he gives her an engagement ring he bought with the winnings from the race. And then Diane insists that Scott take it back, but agrees to marry him. This prompts Scott to confess to Diane who he really is. She does not believe him at first, but when he shows her his license, she faints.
Yeah, she faints in the car on the road. As they're driving down the road together, he's talking to her about who he really is, and she just passes out.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like a cliche, cheesy Elvis film to me, so I think that would work.
Yeah.
And then, so the facts about it is that the movie debuted on October 18th, 1967. It was both filmed in Miami and L.A., so they did say that for both. So I'm guessing the L.A. type area was just for probably like, whatever they're doing for talking and this. And then the actual water type stuff would obviously be in Miami.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, I go through a website called Rotten Tomatoes, and that's where I get all my... It's called the popcorn meter. There's a tomato meter, so they kind of go by how they would rate from different critics and different reviews from people, and kind of go from there of what their percentage rated is. And Tomato Reader gave it 20% out of 100, and Popcorn Meter gave it 62% out of 100. And so it's kind of all over the place, but then so I mean it's kind of one of those things where there's over 96 reviews. There's some people that like it. A majority of the people liked it. The majority of the people thought it was okay. And the reality fact of it is it didn't necessarily bomb, but it didn't really do that well either. So it said the production numbers are more elaborate than usual, but Elvis's songs are as forgettable as ever. So that's what one of the releases of the critics was saying, and the whole picture has a garish, cluttered look. So basically they're just saying that his songs weren't the greatest, and with the garish, cluttered look, it looks like everybody just kind of pieced everything together in a hurry, just pushed him out to make this movie and just get it done and over with. So that's kind of what they were talking about. And the other part of it is that even Elvis himself said he didn't even want to do the movie. He didn't want to do the movie, and the directors and producers were coming at him like, hey, this is going to be great. We want to show you this. He didn't agree with any of them. He said that he was just thinking that this was just not going to be a good idea. But since he was desperately needing the money at that time, Colonel Parker, his agent, told him to do it, and he thought it was the worst film he has ever done. Wow. So whereas other people were thinking it's a pretty good film, or they liked the film, or whatever, he hated it. He did not like it and thought it was the worst ever. And the funny thing is that when they did the ratings of his best to worst films, I think it was called Charo,
yes, that was one.
Is down in his list of one of the worst films that he's ever done. But then Viva Las Vegas was at the top. So that was an interesting fact on that.
Yeah, and that was good.
Yeah. And so the and then his buddy Red West, was in a lot of his movies,
right? Which was that one as well, Clambake.
Yeah, yep. And then, so he's in Clambake. And the funny thing is if you guys are an '80s fan, then Red West is in Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze and Sam Elliott. And so Red West is in that movie as the hardware store owner, and they do call him Red in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And so
that's right.
Obviously it's a lot older Red, but I know that he's in there too, so I was like, oh, well, that's an interesting fact. I didn't even know that. And so... then show Daddy. So the budget for them to make this film was $2 million, and the box office numbers were $2 million. So they never really got a profit off of it, which kind of tells you how the movie went, all in all, for everybody's reviews. So I didn't specifically look at the Egert and Robert, and seeing if they said anything about it, because they're the big top guys.
Yes.
And I didn't, like I said, I didn't even look, but yeah, with all the reviews and all that kind of stuff, it did decent, which kind of makes sense for making 2 million out of the box office and having a gross budget of 2 million as well. So it kind
Yeah.
of broke even on it, which I guess is better than a negative. But then there's other sources that said that they did a budget of 2 million and grossed 1 million. So I think that's because on that kind of a fact that 1 million they paid for Elvis Presley to do the movie and they made 1 million. So really, if it comes to the fact of that, they really didn't do that great and lost 1 million. So it kind of goes back and forth a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
so yeah, so there's that kind of a thing. Obviously, I've never seen Clambake, but I'm assuming he has a lot of musical parts, sings a lot into it, like his other movies.
Yes, there was, I think, maybe like 5 or 6 different times that he sang in the movie. Something
Okay.
like that, yeah.
Okay.
So, he had some, like, of course, with Shelley Fairbears, he had some, like, somewhat, like, cozy romantic areas that they were kind of filming in of him singing to her
Right.
and that kind of thing. And so, that was good.
Right. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
um,
Trying to think of anything else about the movie itself.
I,
Um, Clambake is the 16th soundtrack album by Elvis Presley, so there is that as well. So that's a little factoid, is that it's the 16th soundtrack album. Um, some of the cast, if I haven't listed everybody by now, some of the cast that somebody could recognize is Lee Krieger, he's the bartender. Wallace Earl is known as Ellie.
yes.
So,
Joe Esposito, Red West, and Charlie
and then
Hodge.
there's Harold
There.
Perry, which is a doorman.
What? I know.
Bill Baxton,
Bill Bixby.
or Bill Bigsby. Bill Bigsby,
Bill
yeah,
Bixby,
that's it
yes.
as well.
And Joe Esposito, who was his real, how do I want to say?
Entourage member.
No, I mean, in his life, he was his real
Friend,
guy that
manager?
would get him like singing gigs at different places and
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
But besides that, Joe Esposito was also in that movie, the
The Clambake.
Clambake movie,
Okay. Okay.
and then Red West. Well, we already know Red West, and then also Charlie Hodge,
Oh, okay.
which is also a part of Elvis's mafia gang.
Yeah, the
That they
Memphis
call 'em.
Mafia.
The Memphis Mafia, yes.
Yeah, I remember them saying that, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to always go down to Memphis, Tennessee, because I want to go to Beale Street and see Beale Street, because Beale Street's iconic not only for the state of Tennessee, but down in Memphis you have a lot of the blues legends and you have a lot of the rock and roll legends, and that's where a lot of people kind of got their started from. Is like Jerry Lee Lewis, I heard, was
Yes,
part
he was-
of that area, and then you got oh gosh, I'm trying to think of his name. Son, and then he was,
And Sun Records is the place where Elvis got his start, and that's where he was singing also with Jerry Lee Lewis and Johnny Cash.
oh, that's right.
And
yeah. Was that in
Jerry
Tennessee?
Lee Lewis.
Was that in
Memphis,
Tennessee? Memphis,
yes.
Tennessee. Okay, so there's that's down there. That's a historical landmark too.
Yes.
So I mean, that's part of the reason why I want to go down there, is because of that, and then just because of also can't think of his name now, but he sings the Ludi Tootie. I can't think of the. It's not Jerry Lee Lewis, but it's Richard. Little Richard.
Oh, Little
That's
Richard.
who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I knew I had a Richard in there. But yeah, Little Richard. So I wanted to see that as well. Like, I'm sure they have different kind of pictures and different kind of things written everywhere, probably in stone and stuff like that too. So that'd be a pretty cool landmark. But,
Yeah.
Tupelo, Mississippi.
And then
Yeah.
yeah,
Tupelo, Mississippi is also like where Elvis was at when he was a young kid, and then also going to school.
he was
And
born there, right?
where he was born,
Yeah.
and they really were just in an apartment building for a while. But but when he was a young kid, they had this house that wasn't very much to it. You walk in, because I've been to that house, and you walk inside and you turn to the left and there's a bedroom. You turn to the right and there's a bathroom. You turn to the right and there's a kitchen. It's kind of like you go in a circle in that house, and it was really a small place. But it's interesting to see that house if any of you decide to go on a tour down there and so forth. And anyway, that house is there and it's always being shown for people. And of course, then Elvis made it big and was in his mansion out in Memphis. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. And another interesting fact about that same house he was in as a young kid. I've also been to John Wayne's house and museum and so forth that you have there, which is in another place. It's Winterset, Iowa. And the house, the only reason I'm bringing it up is that house, too, that John Wayne was brought up in as a little kid was pretty much the same look of like Elvis's house when he was a kid.
So it's probably the typical housing in the 50s.
Yeah, it might have been, yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
So it's
Compared to
interesting.
now.
Yeah, comparing to now what they have. So
Right, yeah.
yep.
Oh, man. Well, we're getting to the end of our recording. So yeah, Clambake in a nutshell, you would say it's probably worth a watch at least once.
Oh yeah,
And
I
so
like all Elvis movies anyway, and I know in some cases, you know, some of it gets bad ratings and stuff, but I've always liked Elvis, and I always liked the way he sang, and I liked him in all the movies he did. In my opinion, I thought he did a good job at what he did. So
It's because Dad's biased because he's an Elvis Presley fan.
yeah, boy, has. I always have been.
Yeah.
So yeah, I never go away from it. But
yeah.
now I want to take both my kids and their kids to go to Graceland and see the whole place, everything. So
One day we will.
and go to Tupelo.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Chelsea is supposed to be back on with me next week, so we'll see who we're gonna cover by then. Oh, actually, Sarah Paulson. So we gotta still do her. So we're gonna do her next week, and I hope you enjoyed this little bonus episode with me and my dad.
I hope you all was okay with how I was talking.
Yeah, there was very few ums and wells in this, so we're okay on that. So this has been another episode of Lights, Camera, Action with James and my dad.
Yeah.
So stay tuned next week, and we'll do it from there.